It is indeed my privilege to be here on the CED platform, and I'd like to express my gratitude to Dr. Priyadarshi Nayak, who's been my mentor, and he's also invited me to conduct this session today for all of you wonderful educators who are constantly upskilling themselves by the day in every session that we have at CED Foundation. So once again, thank you very much to CED Foundation and Dr. Nayak, and thank you, Firdaus ma'am, for that wonderful introduction. I'd like to start the session by taking you to Mentimeter. So I'd like you to log into Mentimeter, go to menti.com, and you may use the code. I'm sharing the code in the chat box, and I'd appreciate if every one of you would quickly log into menti.com. I have shared the link there. You may just click on the link and you may directly log into menti.com. Alternatively, I will also share the code which you can join with. If you click on the link, you directly go to menti.com. Nonetheless, I am sharing the code. The code is 27587898. 27587898. Yes, a couple of you have joined in. And I'm going to share the Menti screen with you right now. I want you to see how beautiful it looks when you type in your mother tongue. This is what each of us seems to be typing. And our beautiful nation, Bharat, looks beautiful in all our languages. And I'm going to leave the Menti screen on. So whoever wishes to could not probably fill in their mother tongue and would like to continue doing it a few moments later too, may continue to do so. The Menti screen will be on throughout this session. And now we shall move directly to our main topic. And I hope it is full screen and you're able to see me. So today's topic, as we know, is learning outcomes, multilingualism, and Indian languages. And Mentimeter is what we have already just done, which is my next slide. We have already covered this currently. And I did show you the outcome of the Mentimeter. So today we're going to look at a brief summary. What I have decided today is that I'm not going to put up too much content on the slides. I have put in just pointers and we shall discuss them. So when we talk about learning outcomes related to multilingualism, we already know that we can correlate the following learning outcomes to multilingualism, which are cognitive benefits, cultural and social understandings, communication skills, preservation of cultural heritage, inclusive education, global competence, and life skills. So these are broadly the 7 main categories that we shall be first talking into today. But before I delve into the details of each of these categories, I'm going to keep the chat box open on the side and I'm going to ask you this question while the chat box is open. I want to know from all of you brilliant educators on this platform, what exactly do we mean by multilingualism? Who is multilingual? I'd really appreciate all of you typing. Yes, thank you so much. I can see a lot of people typing in. Those who speak different languages, people who can speak 2 or more languages, people who understand and speak different languages, people who learn multiple languages as a hobby, those who can speak different languages, a person who knows multiple languages, Sumita Shukla, you're very close to the correct answer. Speak and understand more than 2 languages, Prachi Agarwal, a good try. The one who can communicate in different languages, person who knows different languages, use of more than one language, person who can read, write, and understand more than one language is Lena, Saxena, Bam. You are very, very close to the perfect answer. One who can speak a number of languages, understand more than one language. All right. So when a person can read, write, speak, think in 3 or more languages, the person is multilingual. If you're doing it in 2 or 1 or more languages, you are at the most bilingual. But when you're doing it in 3 or more, read, write, speak, and express yourself in 3 or more languages, not just speak. Read, write, think, and express yourself in 3 or more languages, you are multilingual. All right. Thank you so much for the interaction. I have kept the chat box shut for the time being, and we shall look at cognitive benefits of being multilingual. So when we talk about cognitive benefits, we are obviously understanding and learning multiple languages. It can be associated with problem solving, thinking, critical thinking, creative thinking, cognitive development. Then when we talk about cultural and social understanding, we are talking about helping students appreciate the linguistic and cultural richness of India. As we move towards communication skills, we are talking now about reaching a proficient level, a level of proficiency in languages. So multilingual individuals can connect with a broader range of people. And we will also try connecting with each other using different languages today. And when we talk about preservation of the cultural heritage, we are having learning and using Indian languages, which contributes to the preservation of cultural heritage. It helps us to maintain uniqueness, our own identity, as well as adapt to the uniqueness of other cultures with the help of different languages. And I will come to examples of all of this in today's session, and I will take some examples from you as well. Another important aspect that the NCF, or the National Curriculum Framework, talks about is emphasizing the importance of inclusive education, which is also the highlight, that all children, no matter where they belong to, which part of the country or the world they belong to, the philosophy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, as well as all children, no matter which language they speak, are all a part of this one big global community. So NCF and the NEP 2020 have promoted inclusive education. We are also having global competence, where the NCF is highlighting the importance of English as a global language, but at the same time, it is promoting every language of the nation. So as of today, there are close to 780 languages in India, out of which we have only 22 languages considered as official languages under Schedule 8 of the Constitution. And the final topic that we will be discussing today is called life skills. And multilingualism, as we know, helps us to contribute towards adaptability, open-mindedness, appreciation for diversity. These are important values in today's global world. So multilingualism and the promotion of Indian languages are very crucial aspects of the education and cultural identity of India. The emphasis of these factors is often reflected in educational policies and frameworks. And we're going to now look at some of the key points related to multilingualism and Indian languages. So the very first point that we are looking at is linguistic diversity. And when we talk about linguistic diversity, I just mentioned to you that linguistic diversity, out of the 780 languages that we have in our country, only 22 languages have made it to the official languages of India under Schedule 8 of the Constitution. So these 22 languages are now officially recognized, and we are allowed majorly to communicate in these 22 official languages. However, there are multiple dialects, there are multiple other small languages which are also endangered, and I will show you examples of those languages. There is a language called Saimar in Tripura, if I mistake not, which is down to its last 7 speakers. So with the promotion of multilingualism, we are also going to prevent a language from dying out. Imagine a language being down to its last 7 speakers. Now, the NCF has historically, not only NCF FS or NCF SE, but even the previous NCF, 2005, has acknowledged the importance of multilingualism and the preservation of all Indian languages. This framework recognizes that education of the students in the home language. And incorporating this in early education can enhance learning outcomes. And if we have read the NEP properly, we are also aware that the NEP promotes the use of the mother tongue up to class 5 and wherever possible up to grade 8. So why do we think are we focusing so much on the mother tongue? Any answers? You can mention some answers in the chat box. Why is there so much of a focus on the mother tongue? Better understanding, it's easy to understand. So isn't the father tongue easy to understand? Why is the focus on the mother tongue and not the father tongue? All right, so most of your answers are more or less similar to each other. Everyone's is familiar, easy to follow, easy to communicate. The child best understands in the mother tongue. But let me tell you, the first word that an infant speaks is ma. Okay, so Anvesha Chakraborty says emotions are best expressed in the mother tongue. And let me read a little more because it's a long message. Yeah. And in order to get the ultimate outcome for learning, we need to attach emotional quotient to it. Therefore, we need to have mother tongue. All right. So when the child utters, an infant, utters the first word, it is always ma. And ma ki bhasha is your mother tongue. So that is the language the child will always speak in. The father tongue is a little difficult to take at that initial stage because it's the beginning. No child cries with a pa. All children cry with an a, or the first syllable they speak is a ma. So if you know the main syllable that all of us chant, the universal chant, om, a, o, ma. Yes, so Manoranjan ji is writing here, from the mother's womb, a child starts learning. And it's also the first syllable that the child actually talks. And therefore, that language, the language of the mother, plays a very, very important role in the understanding of everything that the child does after birth. Therefore, mother tongue education also plays a very, very important role. Then we have preservation of endangered languages. Now, once again, I'd like to stop this presentation and I would like you to see this particular portal which I have open here. And this portal talks about how we need to preserve mother tongue and Indian languages. It also talks about what work is being done in the mother tongue and to preserve all the endangered languages. So this is the page of an NGO. This particular NGO is the People's Archive of Rural India, or PARI, People's Archive of Rural India. You can see the short form there, PARI. Now look at this. I'm going to just highlight a certain text here. 780 languages which have been found in the People's Linguistic Survey of India. And in terms of provision for schooling up to class 7, just 4% of those 780 languages are covered. Most of the languages are mainly spoken by people in rural India. And look at this. There are states whose official languages come outside the 22 languages of Schedule 8 of the Constitution, particularly those in the Garo, Khasi, and Jaintia hills of of Meghalaya, and the eastern state of Odisha has 44 tribal languages. And Simar in Tripura, I told you already, is down to its last 7 speakers. So what are we as a nation doing to preserve all of these languages? Absolutely nothing. Till date, we have done nothing. Now is the time for us to wake up and look at what needs to be done, what can be done. Now, this is the same diversity we find in culture, ethnicity, linguistic diversity, art, craft. We also have had storytellers, epic poems. Like just yesterday, I was hearing Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji speak about having traveled across the length and breadth of the country for the installation of the Ram Lalla statue, or the idol, sorry, of Ram Lalla yesterday in the big ceremony. So I'm sure everybody must have watched the ceremony yesterday. But he made this very pertinent comment that throughout his travel in the length and breadth of the country in the recent fortnight, he has heard the Ramayan in different languages. And he said, Ramayan ka anushthan Bharatiya bhashaon mein hua hai. These are the words he has used in yesterday's speech. That means epics like the Ramayana and Mahabharata have also become multilingual and are being preserved. And the idea behind doing it is to take down what has happened in the past to the future generation in their language to help them understand and learn the lessons that they need to live a good human being's life. So there are these rural professions they talk about, toddy tappers and other manual laborers, etc., whose languages also differ, dialects differ, and People's Archive of Rural India comes in here. They're creating Creative Commons. They are collecting stories, poems, ballads, works, anything that you have, and they're creating a database which will be available to all. It's going to be a public resource. You can see whatever I'm highlighting. It's going to have media, AV, text platforms, history works, narrations, narrations even by tea plant pluckers, tea pickers, or the khalasis. Everybody's works in their own language is going to be available on this People's Archive of Rural India. And then as you explore their website, you can see stories. You can see the gallery where they are actually working, the library, their education, etc. So let's not get into those things. We shall focus back on our main topic, learning outcomes, multilingualism, and Indian languages. But I wanted all of you wonderful educators to understand that multilingualism can take a variety of forms. Okay. Now, bilingual education. Now, multilingual is 3 or more, but bilingual education makes it easy. Like we say, English was a global language. To make your presence felt in the global world, you need a language, a common language like English. But with English, you need another language. That could be your home language, your mother tongue, your state language, your regional language. another official language of the country. So education should always be imparted minimum in 2 languages. So most of us have learned in English and Hindi. Many of us have had the 3 language formula where we learned English, Hindi, and a third language, majorly language of the state. This also brings us to cultural identity, where we are tied to culture, linguistic majorities. However, we are not majoritarian like the Lankan Tamils and Sri Lanka or the Sinhalese, but we respect linguistic diversity. It helps us create a cultural identity. We maintain linguistic diversity to safeguard India's culture. Therefore, it is good to be culturally diverse. And in the global perspective, multilingualism gives us proficiency in English, which we always want, we English. Like the Woods Dispatch and the Macaulay's Minutes left us with English. And we always say, Angrez Bharat chhod gaye, Angrezi piche rakh gaye. So we walk English, we talk English as if English is our mother tongue. But that's not the case. However, proficiency in English gives us a global competence. We are able to be in the world. We are able to create a stand for ourselves in the world. We are able to get global information because there is one common thread binding the whole world, that is English. It helps us with higher education, with employment opportunities. So being proficient at the global level with a global language is a plus point to any learner. And ultimately, we have policy implementation where state governments have a major role to play. Most state governments, even today, emphasize on using the state language as the second language or the mother tongue or the home language. Now, when we come to a state language being used as the mother tongue or the home language or the state language, what is actually happening is we as individuals have, like in most states, we've now seen, I'm from Maharashtra, Marathi has become the home language and the student has to clear Marathi this year up to grade 9, next year by grade 10, and so on and so forth. So even at higher education, a student will have to clear the state language. When I travel to Gujarat, I realize Gujarati has become the state language and everyone has to now pass the subject Gujarati. So similarly, other states have also taken this up. I'm sure Odia is followed in Odisha. South Indians always had their own language. Tamil Nadu had Tamil. Kerala, Karnataka. So we have Malayalam, Telugu, Kannada, all of these languages in the southern states. And people speak different languages. Most states insist on using their state language. So state governments are the ones who are implementing policy. And National Curriculum Framework in India outlines learning outcomes and objectives for multilingual education. And today we are offering a general mapping of learning outcomes to the context of multilingual education based on common educational principles. So I'm now going to show you a broad mapping of the NCF to multilingualism and then take on some common aspects for discussion. So in the first point, we see cognitive development. So the emphasis of NCF for cognitive development has been development of critical thinking, problem solving, and cognitive skills. And the multilingual connection, they say exposure and proficiency in multiple languages can enhance cognitive flexibility, problem solving abilities, and critical thinking. So for this, we can have bilingual schooling. We can do language immersion programs like storytelling, discussions, debates, role plays. We can take on multilingual teaching materials to our classrooms, even storybooks, library books, textbooks in different languages. We can organize cultural and linguistic events. So maybe now that Republic Day is coming up, we can always turn around and say we are having a linguistic Republic Day, and we have all the patriotic songs in different languages. It's possible. We can do a language fair where every language spoken in the country can be given importance. There are language proficiency assessments, and students can take on those assessments to track their proficiency in the mother tongue and other additional languages. And as educators, we need to give instructions to the children to actually take a SWOT and take on these language proficiency assessments, because it's going to look at the needs and challenges faced by the students in mastering different languages. And then teaching those languages will also be a simpler task if we know the proficiency levels of the students. Though languages cannot be taught, they are caught. Then we can have language clubs and language activities, games, cultural programs, cultural exchange, language theme competitions, community involvement. Now here you could invite community members fluent in different languages to share their experiences. So most schools celebrate a grandparents' day, I believe. So we can invite grandparents to speak to the children in their own native language. And you will see a different cultural diversity, a linguistic diversity in your school. It really brings out a lot of learning environment in the classroom. We can have language integrated projects. So we don't not only take on English in a language, but as a language, but we ask students to collaborate in their mother tongue. Like how you used Mentimeter to write the word Bharat in your native language or your mother tongue. You can have collaborative mother tongue based projects. We can have language mentorship programs as well. So senior students will peer mentor the juniors in the mother tongue or the native language or the home language. Now we have language proficiency as another pointer. And what is the NCF emphasis of this? Achievement of language proficiency in both mother tongue and additional language. And multilingual connection is ensuring that students are proficient in the mother tongue while also acquiring proficiency in other languages, fostering effective communication skills. I'm going to pause here for a moment. I want to share another screen for you. This screen is one of the apps that I found from the EBSB or the Ek Bharat Shresht Bharat app. So when you go to Google Play Store, you're also able to download this particular app. Your App Store or Play Store is going to help you download this app. This app is the Bhasha Sangam Indian language learning app. It is a completely Atmanirbhar app, made in India, make in India app. What does this app do? It teaches you 100 sentences in 22 Indian languages. Now, there are two characters in this app, Vani and I think one more male character. There are these two characters, I forget the boy's name. But both these characters teach us 22 languages and 100 sentences in each language. There are interactive learning modules. There are face-to-face online sessions, demo videos. You can unlock levels. You can earn stars. However, if you wish to get a certification, at the end of a particular language learning module, there is a test. And if you get a score of 70% and above, you get a certificate of learning a language from the Ministry of Education. So you're actually learning a language. The app is free. And since it's a Make in India app, it is easy to use, beautifully created. You can learn, easily install it. There is no cost to install this app. Bhasha Sangam is the name of the app. It is an EBSB app. Okay, so I have some nice new chat. Bharti, which website do you want me to share with you? I would appreciate that also coming in the chat. Okay, you want the Bhasha Sangam app website? It's on Play Store. Bhasha Sangam is on Play Store. And I'll put the link in the chat box. Some Android versions now do not support it, but you may still check. On a laptop, it does download. It is showing the install option. So I have it on my phone. It's working well right now. And we'll move back to the main presentation. In between, if you have any query, just take a note of your queries. We shall address your queries towards the end of the session. It's going to be a little difficult for me to keep turning the chat box on and off, but nonetheless, I will keep the session interactive or as interactive as I can. And yes, somebody has mentioned that in Odisha, work is going on to accept other spoken languages. Yes, it is going on. I do agree. But while we and Maharashtra had Odisha as a partner state under EBSB and Kala Setu, we did realize that there are 44 tribal languages and there is not much work done to take in all the 44 languages. Well, at the most, we could learn was Odia, not the other languages. So yes, when work is done and all of you brilliant educators from Odisha will one fine day help us learn the other spoken languages as well. So once again, when we talk about language proficiency, we come down to bilingual instruction. Instruction in school, like all our CBSE circulars, can be in two languages. One in English if it's an English medium school, or Hindi if it's a Hindi medium school, and another language which could alternatively be your state language or the mother tongue. We could do language integrated collaborative projects, language enhanced extracurricular activities, which include drama, music, or we may have language immersion programs like we discussed earlier. Multilingual reading programs are very much in these days. Mentorship, language mentorship program also I have just told you a couple of minutes ago, where senior peers teach or mentor the juniors in a particular language. We can even try cultural exchange programs. And that works beautifully, where students of different schools speak different languages. Or even in your annual day and your sports day, you can try it out. Each set of students, like we have in annual days, most of us prefer dances. So we have dances of different regions or countries. You can have multilingual dances. And you can, in your sports day, we have these displays, mass drill, and like they have on Republic Day, those floats and yoga and whatnot. You know, we have aerobics. We have a whole lot of these displays, dumbbells. We can all have them in multilingual ways. So each set could be a different linguistic performance. And that's also an EBSB initiative. EBSB, Ek Bharat, Shresth Bharat. So language immersion camps, like summer camps, could be your language immersion camps. We have online learning platforms. I showed you one, Bhasha Sangam. There will be many more if you try and search. There's also a CBSE reading app for grades 1 to 10. You can download that for free as well. And you can read currently in English, but soon they will have other languages on. We can have cross-cultural collaborative projects. So schools in the north could team up with teams in other regions and make a collaborative project. Or a school in Maharashtra with the partner state Sikkim could work on collaborative projects. Odisha with its current partner state can work in collaborative linguistic projects. What is going to happen? This is going to give the students a quick feedback and is going to give them an interest into collaborating and learning a new language. It's a different language, different interaction, making new friends, respecting cultural diversity of India. At the same time, we have language assessment tests, language proficiency tests we have, and each of these tests give you an immediate feedback on the performance of the students. So each of these plays a very important role. The next aspect that we are going to talk about is the cultural understanding. And NCF emphasizes on appreciation of cultural diversity, values, and traditions. But multilingual education is about learning multiple languages, which facilitates deeper understanding of diverse cultures, fosters an appreciation for linguistic and cultural richness. So now I gave you this example already earlier also, and I'm going to show you that when we want to teach our students in different languages, what can we do? So this is a nursery rhyme. I'll play just a couple of lines from here, and you can tell me which English rhyme does it correlate with?
वृषभः अस्ति हम्बा अत्र हम्बा तत्र हम्बा हम्बा सर्वत्र आगच्छन्तु आगच्छन्तु क्षेत्रं पश्यन्तु आगच्छन्तु आगच्छन्तु क्षेत्रं अजहा
So what got my attention immediately was most of you immediately identified the original English rhyme. What did I do? I showed you the Sanskrit. The same rhyme I showed you in Sanskrit. And you were able to identify it with the tune. The lyrics were coming along, but the tune caught us. If you remember NEP also, in multilingual education, NEP 2 says that multilingual education should be taught in a fun-loving way. It should not be enforced on the students. So we can use these kind of techniques. Now I'll show you one more rhyme and you have to tell me which one it is in English. Okay. This one that I have got for you right now is from Chuchu TV. Most of the See, our basic idea of teaching different languages to the students. I'm sure even sitting at home after a tired work day, all of you brilliant educators had a little smile on your faces, a little cheer in your lives, that these are the rhymes that we remember from our childhood days. Because these were very catchy tunes. And when we use these in the mother tongue of the children will also pick them up. What were we trying to do? Old MacDonald had a farm, teach us about animals and the sounds they make. Now, when you teach the same thing in Sanskrit, we have Indian names of the same animals with the Indian sounds that they make. And when you talk about the same thing in Tamil, as I did, you get the names of these animals in Tamil as well as the sounds that they make. So it's very easy for a child to then not get confused and to collate and understand, for example, what is a pig called in English, in Sanskrit, in Tamil, Telugu, or whichever other language you are taking this rhyme and showing it to the child. And what is the sound that the animal makes. There is no confusion in the mind of the child. And the rhyme remaining common, Old MacDonald. That's a fun way of teaching multilingualism. So I'll move back to the presentation. I have a lot more examples for you and I hope time doesn't run out. Then there is also like bilingual education. I told you we have to normally follow bilingual education so that students understand the language we are trying to teach in. We will also have cultural exchange programs. Now you can even for cultural understanding have linguistic travel programs. So you can take the students to other parts of the country or the world where they wish to be and learn that language. We can have multilingual literature studies. So even epics like Ramayana, Mahabharata and other Vedas, etc. can be taught. Or any other literature, like we have Sangam literature. Any other literature can be taught in different languages. Students can read and understand. We can take our students to participate in international conferences and seminars where people from different linguistic backgrounds will join in. Students will learn to communicate well in different languages. Then we will have language-based media competitions. Like I showed you these nursery rhymes, but you could always have your students creating videos and poems and other activities in different languages and have them up on your school's social media. Plus, we have language-specific festival and important day celebrations. And In India, when does CBSE celebrate the Multilingual Day? If you could quickly put that answer in the chat box. When does CBSE celebrate the Multilingual Day? So if you all remember, NEP taught us that we need to have a multilingual project for grade 6 to 8, and that is also celebrated as the Multilingual Day in India. Shubhra Mohan, I await the correct answer. I'm sure most schools did celebrate it. It slips our mind because it's not something we have been celebrating for platinum or a golden jubilee. We've just been doing it since the last 2 years, and the date is December 11, which is the Multibhashi Divas or the Multilingual Day. This year, the CBSE in the multiple circulars sent for December 11 and the multiple proposed programs had mentioned one important thing was a multilingual signature campaign. So students could sign in their mother tongue and we could upload pictures of that. And it was a fun activity to do. Imagine signing on a big sheet or a softboard in your mother tongue. It's brilliant, a fancy idea. Then we also have language learning in the local context. So we let the students interact with local communities, natives in our regions, and learn a language from them. We can give them linguistic heritage education. So they can go to the historical roots of any particular language and they can talk about it. They can research. It could be a research-based project on digging into the roots or the historical roots of a particular language. Where did it evolve from and where is it today? We can have even language-specific cuisine exploration where students can try out cuisines of different regions based on languages. We could even have anthropology studies based on languages, where cultural practices, beliefs, social traditions, rituals are all seen in multilingual ways. And finally, we can join online linguistic communities. These are those communities who are going to help us enhance the rich cultural diversity of India. Now, the NEP and NCF both emphasize on inclusive education. So the NCF emphasizes ensuring education is inclusive and accessible to all students. Recognizing and valuing linguistic diversity, providing education in students' mother tongue, and accommodating multiple languages to ensure inclusivity. So the CBSE is also now, with the help of NCRT and the state SCRT, is coming up with textbooks in multiple languages. So within a year or two, we will have multilingual textbooks. Then we come to preservation of heritage. When if you look at NCF, the emphasis on preservation and promotion of cultural heritage is mentioned. And the multilingual context of it is preserving and promoting Indian languages as an integral part of cultural heritage, ensuring students maintain a connection with their linguistic roots. So we can have multiple activities, softboards which are multilingual. So you can see one example here. We welcome everyone in English is written in multiple languages on the board. Or to the right, you can see a role play where people are talking multilingual. Students are doing it. Or in the center picture, you can see yesterday's Ram Lala installation using sand art in Odisha. And it's made its name in the records. So you can see what not is giving rise to multilingual education. This is India's cultural heritage, sand art in Odisha. And it's made its name in world records. Because probably I think it was the largest sand art installation done in Odisha. Now, when we talk about preservation of heritage, we also know that the three-language formula is here to stay. That one is the medium of instruction of the school. Second will be, so first will either be English or Hindi. Second will be one official language of the nation. And the third could be the mother tongue, the home language, or the native language, which is normally the state language. We will have language and cultural festivals, which we've been discussing. We can have music, dance, drama, heritage language classes. So just as we have a heritage club and a language club, we now have multilingual club. We have multilingual libraries. So in the library, in the school library, we can have a section on multilingual books, cultural exchange programs, local language media production. So students normally give us good videos, good PPTs in English or the medium of instruction of the school. But now we can help them to create multilingual or local language videos, media, etc. Even newsletters could be created in the native language. Then we have integration of local folklore, local traditions, a language preservation workshop. So I did show you the People's Archive of Rural India, Pari portal, how they are trying to preserve all the local languages. We can have storytelling sessions, and we can collaborate with local artists and artisans for any particular language preservation. Now look at this, global competence. So while NCF says preparing students for global challenges and opportunities, the multilingual connection is proficiency in multiple languages, including English, because like I told you in the beginning of today's session, English is giving you an edge in the global world. It is increasing employment opportunities. It is helpful in higher education. However, in the NEP 2020, we know that multilingualism is given importance, and to enhance global knowledge and mobility, to learn the culture of the world, foreign languages have also been included, which include Korean, Chinese, Japanese, Thai, French, German, Spanish, or Russian. And these languages will be offered at the secondary level. So students can choose one of these languages if they wish to. Then we have an important point, recognizing linguistic diversity awareness. So when we come to recognizing linguistic diversity and awareness, we must not forget that NCF emphasis here is on understanding linguistic diversity within India. And multilingualism acknowledges and celebrates the linguistic diversity of India, fostering awareness and respect for various languages spoken across the country. And right in front of you, you have an example of a multilingual calendar. It is a Gregorian, solar, lunisolar, and lunar calendar. It shows you two dates in different languages, different calendar years, different panchangs, different tithis, different dates. So one such thing is the festival of Deepavali on 24th October 2022, 2 years ago. So if we portray something like this, a multilingual calendar in the classroom, it will probably attract the students to even know something. So you can see that it's a Christian calendar, it has a Tamil calendar, it has a lunisolar calendar, and it has a lunar Hijri calendar, all in one. We can even have language appreciation workshops. So the children learn different languages, the script, they critically appreciate the cultural nuances, and it helps them to develop a better understanding of their languages. Then we have multilingual literature exhibitions can also be done. So if you have a year-round dialogue on multilingual work, and you have a lot of work with you, at the end of a year, you can have a multilingual exhibition. You can invite parents, you can invite neighboring schools, you can invite cluster schools, hub of learning schools, Sahodaya schools to visit your school. You can invite the community, the local community, and appreciate your multilingual efforts. This helps the students and the local community and all the stakeholders respect diversity and Indian knowledge systems. That is the very foundation of National Education Policy 2020. We can also do multilingual awareness campaigns for this purpose. Then we have life skills. Now, under life skills, NCF emphasizes development of life skills for holistic growth, and multilingualism contributes to the development of life skills like adaptability, open-mindedness, appreciation for diversity, which are all essential in a globalized world. So what I am going to do is I'm going to stop presenting this, and I will not play the song. I was actually originally planning to play a song, but I can see I'm running out of time. So what I will do is I will take you forward, and let's try and do some cartoons. Let's do some comic strips and cartoons, and then let us try and introduce ourselves in Sanskrit. So let's take the fun of a multilingual classroom back with us. Tomorrow, when you go back to school, you should be able to, as very empowered educators of CET Foundation, you should be able to go back and try out your skills at multilingualism with your colleagues, and everybody should feel that you have actually attended a session with a lot of takeaways. So let us try. Let me reshare my screen. Yes. So this is a very famous movie dialogue. I have kept it in Sanskrit for you. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the chat box open at the side. You have to tell me the Hindi dialogue for this. Utthapai re Bhagwan, mam nahi mo dva utthapai. You have to tell me the famous dialogue. And Shubhra Mohan, utha le re Bhagwan. मुझको नहीं, इन दोनों को. So very true. Let's clap for Shubhra Mohan, who's been the first one at identifying this dialogue. उठा ले रे बाबा उठा ले, मेरे को नहीं, इन दोनों को. And it's the famous movie Hera Fairy. Great. I can see a whole lot of people. I'll clap for you. You all are really, really brilliant educators. Great. I'm happy you're getting on the hang of it. Chalo, let's try this. Mitram anuttirnam bhavati chet khedah, kintu pratham kramankena uttirnaschet ativa khedah. Which is this dialogue in Hindi? Again, a very famous Hindi dialogue. मित्र फेल हो जाए तो दुख होता है. 3 Idiots. Samreen Hussain, I think that is. थ्री इडियट्स का, यस। सो दोस्त फेल हो जाए तो दुख होता है, किंतु दोस्त टॉप कर जाए तो ज्यादा दुख होता है। शुभ्रा मोहन, congratulations once again, and congratulations to all those of you who are trying to decode this Sanskrit dialogue to its original Hindi. Very, very good. दोस्त प्रथम आ जाए, फर्स्ट पास हो जाए तो और भी ज्यादा दुख होता है। Absolutely, absolutely. I'm clapping for all of you because you are really the truly empowered educators at CED Foundation. Let's introduce ourselves in Sanskrit. Aham api Sanskritam janami. I'm going to introduce myself in Sanskrit. Mama nama Khyati asti. So that's the dash where you put in your name. Mama nama, my name is. Okay, so Shivangi, you have to write Mama nama Shivangi asti. My name is Shivangi और मेरा नाम शिवांगी है. Yes, Dibya, Abhilasha, Sheila. Beautiful. That's exactly what we are trying to do. Leena, Ramesha, Navina. Perfect. That's one line. Mama nama dash asti. That's my name. Aham Mumbai Nagare Vasami. I live in Mumbai. Aham Mumbai Nagare Vasami. So Amita says, I live in Mumbai. Okay. Lucknow Nagare Vasami. Beautiful. Katak Nagare. Hyderabad Nagari Vasami. Nellore. Beautiful. Now, why did I choose Sanskrit over other languages in multilingualism? I'll give you the reason. In the NEP, we have this particular thing that Sanskrit will be taught at two levels, STS and SSS. So Saral Sangeet and Sanskrit through Sanskrit, which is the standardized Sanskrit. So there is Noida Nagare and Prayagraj Nagare, Lucknow Nagare, beautiful. Aham Adhyapak evam Adhyapika, depending on your gender, asti. Aham Adhyapak evam Adhyapika asti. So most of us are Adhyapikas, very few Adhyapaks, but in English everyone writes, I am a teacher. And then the last line, Aham Gopi Birla Memorial Vidyalaye Pathayami. So that's the name of your school where you teach. Aham dash Vidyalaye Pathayami. So Amita Solomon is from City Montessori School. My heartfelt condolences to all of you at City Montessori School. Lucknow for the sad demise and the loss that none of us will be able to come out from. Sumita Shukla, I don't think you happen to teach at Gopi Birla Memorial School. But a big lot of City Montessori School teachers, wonderful, Poddar International School, Xavier's Vidyalaya Pathayami, Katak, yes. The Indian Public School, Pathayami. Wonderful. So let's clap for ourselves if we've been able to learn 4 sentences in Sanskrit to take back to our schools. And tomorrow I'm going to hope that every single school that's joined us in this session is going to have educators converse with each other. Okay, Delhi Public School, E-School, Bangalore, Guwahati. Very good. So we have people from everywhere, Prayagraj, Guwahati to Bangalore, Mumbai, Lucknow, Katak, and wherever you belong to. I am happy we are here as one family in the CED, Nellore as well, and that we are able to take the movement of uh, learning forward. Yes, Sumita Shukla, I did understand. So, with this, I'd like to express my wholehearted gratitude to CED Foundation and Dr. Priyadarshi Nayak for inviting me today and giving me the opportunity to interact with all of you brilliant educators. I hope today's session on learning outcomes, multilingualism, and Indian languages did have a takeaway for all of you. I can see the attendance link being shared by CED India. And thank you, Firdaus ma'am. For those of you who would like to ask me a question or comment, feel free to do so. And if you need to raise your virtual hand to speak, I'm sure we can help you unmute. Also, for those of you who would like to give me a feedback, I am welcome and open to accepting all your feedback with grace. So I'd appreciate some comments. Okay. I hope you've had something to take back to your classrooms. At any point in time you wish to raise your virtual hand and wish to be unmuted, please feel free to do so. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Sangamitra Mukherjee. And I'm happy many of you liked the explanation of the topic. I hope I could bring out a meaningful connect of this topic for all of you. Would you have any questions? Would anybody wish to unmute and say something? The floor is open to you.
Suzuki again.
Nobody wishes to say anything to me? Yes, Usha C. Mishra. Thank you very much. I am glad, Sunita ji, you liked the session. I'm deeply humbled by the wonderful feedback that many of you are writing. So do I have any more comments or questions or queries? Thank you, Prachi Agarwal. That's one of the greatest feedbacks. Thank you, Dibyashri Mishra. I think learning a language has no age. There's no barrier. Thank you, Deep Gambhirji. Would anyone want to unmute and say a few words? All right. Seeing that nobody wishes to speak, I think we can bring this session to an end. Once again, thank you everyone for joining in today and looking forward to seeing you in all future sessions at CED Foundation. Have a wonderful, fruitful learning journey in Series 29, Part 2. And looking forward to seeing you in more such sessions. And I hope you can take back today's learning into your classrooms, into your staff rooms, into your families, and help India become multilingual and recognize the cultural diversity and respect the basic Indian knowledge systems and values that we have enshrined in the National Education Policy 2020, based on which is the National Curriculum Framework. Once again, thank you. See you. Firdaus ma'am, I think we can end the session. Gratitude to Dr. Nayak and CED Foundation, as well as Firdaus ma'am.
Actually, ma'am is not available, ma'am.
Oh, so who's manning this session? Whoever the gentleman was at CED hosting this session, thank you so much to you. And I think we can end the session. Thank you, Mrs. Deep Gambhir. That was truly a very, very touching comment. All right, goodbye. I'll see you. And wishing everyone happy Ram installation in Ayodhya, as well as, okay, Mrs. Deep Gambhir seems to be wanting to talk.
Yes, ma'am. Good
Okay.
evening, ma'am.
Good evening. I can't see you though.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, now
Okay,
here I am.
thank you. Thank
Good
you.
evening, ma'am. Ma'am,
Good
in
evening.
fact, first, once I saw your one session here in CD programs. After that, I have been searching for all the sessions that you have also placed on YouTube, and they are very, very interesting to watch. And I don't wish to miss any of your sessions. Really, simply put, all the things are very well explained and seem to be quite practical too. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. I am very, very deeply humbled and honored by that feedback.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Hope to see you again in many, many programs, ma'am.
Anytime, ma'am.
Thank you.
So I
Okay,
think
ma'am.
somebody else had also unmuted in between, somebody with a P in the icon. Thumbnail icon had a P who had unmuted.
That has given you sufficient time to see everyone, ma'am, today. Fair enough. Ma'am, I hope you are putting all your sessions in YouTube and we can
Whatever
access
I
video
can get from, otherwise whoever hosts my session does put them up. So
Okay.
multiple sessions are from other sources too. But you can always connect with me. Deepti Sharma ji, the attendance link is in the chat. Just scroll a little, you'll find it.
And ma'am, your PPTs also, they are very easy to understand. Language, so as it is, whatever you're using is very well understandable. That's great.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Where are you from?
Ma'am, see, today you have referred to Odisha time and again. And I'm speaking right now from Odisha only. I'm in Aska. It's a remote place in Odisha, a little away from Parampur. So I hope you are connected to Odisha in some way or the other.
My only connection is Ek Bharat Shresht Bharat, where for the
Okay.
last couple of years, Odisha was our partner state in
With
Maharashtra.
Maharashtra, yes.
Yes.
Now this year
And
it is with Punjab.
okay,
This
and
year,
we are with Sikkim.
yes, ma'am.
And my next connection with Odisha is with Dr. Nayak.
Oh, yes. He has already brought everybody close enough,
Yes,
bringing the world together.
absolutely.
Yes. Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much
Okay,
once
thank you
again.
so much. See you all time and again.
Thank you, ma'am.
And hope everyone is able to celebrate and live in peace in this beautiful nation, Bharat.
And
Namaskar,
practically
goodbye, happy evening.
put the things to practice. That's more important, no, ma'am.
Yes, absolutely.
Right, ma'am.
Okay, goodbye.
Have a nice day. Goodbye.